Hi everybody and welcome to Blendline TV episode 10 live. Joining me, Daniel Beckinsale and Gary O'Brien. Gary, thanks for joining us.
Oh, great to be here again.
It's been a big day of commentary throughout the day. We had Lachlan Mansell here earlier today going through a few of the races for the AMRS. Next Monday we've got TA2 going to broadcast at 8:30pm on channel 173 on Foxtel's Aurora. If you can't get that, we will simulcast it here on Blendline TV. Go to the YouTube channel or check out our website at blendline.tv/TA2, most likely is where that link will be. So good racing up at Morgan Park. Of course, we reviewed some of it last week. And Gary, you spent the weekend at the Bathurst 6 Hour, big event.
Big event, lots of support action there. A lot of the race car drivers and teams that we deal with in our telecast were there as well, having a run around. So that was always good to see.
That's it. Sorry, got
yeah,
distracted there by a little bit of
well,
noise.
we're going to have a bit of a shorter show tonight because
yes.
we figured that a lot of people want to get to bed a bit earlier tonight with the dawn services for Anzac Day tomorrow. So
hopefully a few people getting out to those ones and
Yeah.
supporting what's going on.
Good.
It's a big weekend, of course. Almost second long weekend for everyone, but not quite as much motorsport going on this
I think
one.
it worked out that if you took 3 days off your holidays, you got 12 days off overall, which is 2 weeks basically.
12 days off at the moment. That'd be pretty good.
Yeah, last weekend, nobody complained about it.
Anyway, we'll go and take a look at some of the action we had caught up with over the last couple of weeks. First off, we're going to take a look at some of the interviews for TA2 up at Morgan Park. Just catch up with a bit of what's happening there ahead of our broadcast next Monday night. So we'll take a look at the interviews now with a few of the drivers and come back to it afterwards.
So George Elliott, tell us about your new-looking Camaro.
Oh mate, it's not looking too new at the moment. I let the boy have a go and look what happened.
Yes, well, George, I was trying to fit into a little mini seat and the mini foot pedals, but, got my feet tied up and twisted and all turned around and then found the wall. Sorry about that, buddy.
Yeah.
So,
mate, if you give him another 5 minutes, he'll turn it around so that it was my fault.
Yeah, but
Too much damage to continue, George?
Oh, look, there is, for this weekend there is, mate. It's, it could have been a lot worse, but I think that, for this weekend, if it was to keep going, we'd run a risk of something else failing and maybe doing more damage.
So Kimbo, first taste of TA2, remind you of your old NASCAR days?
yes, but I never got my feet stuck in the pedals though, Craigie. But, first time for everything.
Well, Glenn Seaton, you must be really proud of your boy.
Unbelievably proud. I tell you what, to be able to go racing with your son and enjoy the fruits of what he's doing now, early part of his career, is really enjoyable. It's something that us fathers always dream of having, and I've really got that. And he's doing a fantastic job. It's a fantastic class for young kids like this to learn from, because things got a lot of power. You're on a tyre that you sort of got to manage a bit, so it's actually really good for them, for a really good development series and a development category for them. But not only that, to see all the old guys out there in them too is fantastic too, because this is really good cost-effective racing, and it's great for all these young kids and old guys to actually mingle with each other.
Have fun. Mate, 3 out of 3 so far this weekend, but you can sense Badiki is just getting closer and closer and closer every race.
Yeah, definitely. The weekend's gone really well for us so far, and George is keeping the pressure on all the time. So it's been really good for my driving to have him in the category, and also everyone in the field. It's been a very special class in my development.
So who gives who advice now in car setup, okay? Who's actually the boss?
Well, he still lives at home with me, so he's still going to take orders from me. But no, the good thing about it is, naturally, with all my experience with owning a race team and running my own race car, I know technically what sort of to do. But you've also got to have someone who's giving you the right feedback, and Aaron's very good at that. I suppose it's just we've spent a lot of time from karting right through to now, and we've spent a lot of time together, and we know what our jargle is between us with what we need from a car or a go-kart or whatever it is for him to go fast.
Well, you've set the benchmark and everybody's got to reach it, so well done, and continue the weekend in good form.
Yeah, thank you. Hopefully we've got one to go, and hopefully it goes well.
So George, how's your weekend so far after race 2?
Not good enough, mate. I'm just always the bridesmaid, I've got to figure something out. But no, the car is getting better, and as the races get longer, I think I'm starting to see him come back to me. So I've got some hope for tomorrow, but we're not going to rest on our laurels. We'll keep working on the car, and Dad's car's coming along now really well as well, so he's moving up the grid too.
Great father and son team to have in TA2 muscle cars, but who gives who advice these days, Andrew?
Of course, it's me giving him advice. But George does like to give me advice in driving, and probably I'm not quite as good as I was, so I'll take that. but I tell him how to set the car up.
Well, the results are coming, guys, and the car's getting quicker and quicker and quicker. You just got to nail that little gap to Aaron Seaton.
Yeah, that's it. Maybe I need to get Dad to drive my car more often.
We had a day Monday, and we got this one going pretty well, but we've probably obviously got a bit more work to do. You know, Glenn Seaton's renowned for setting up, and Aaron's a very, very good driver, and so when we get there, we'll know we'll have done a good job. So, but we're coming.
So, Russell Wright, what happened?
In the last race, good start. Well, we had 2 starts, of course. The second start was fine until I went into third gear. No throttle, just nothing. So I just had to coast it around and try to get off the track as quick as I could. Found a bit of infield that I could go to and park the car up. Pulled the bonnet off. Tried to secure the cable somehow. Nothing to hook it to, no tools to do anything with. I thought if I could just get a bit of revs, I'd just go around and get the laps done, but it wasn't to be. So just had to sit it out. Really frustrating because it puts you down, 50, 60 points. And it takes the wind out of your sails in the terms of the championship.
Well, father and son sees a bit of flavour of the month in TA2. I understand that Steve Coulter and his son Michael might become involved as well. So we've got the Medickies, the Seatons, the Callisters, the Coulters. It'll be the Hatfields and the McCoys next.
It's becoming a real show of family talents as we saw some great racing up there on the weekend. The highlights package coming to Blendline TV on Monday night at 8:30 p.m. We just wrapped that today. Working up with a few of the guys in Queensland to get it all done. I tell you what, there's plenty of action in it.
Be a good show.
Yeah, the last man we saw on there, Russell Wright, had a big weekend as well. A spin over the top of the hill, and then that drama in the final race of the weekend, which has really done paid to his championship charge, semi-defence. But
early days.
Back out at Talon Bend as well on
that'll
22nd, 23rd of June.
That's going to be interesting because that is really a high-speed horsepower track, and there won't be a lot of differences between the top end of the car, so setting your car up there will be something. And I wonder if anyone will sneak over there and try and get some test laps in beforehand.
Well, I hear the Dream Motorsport guys have a track day over there before the event, so that will be interesting to find out what's going on as well. And of course, we've got Thunder Sports joining that one back on the list. RX8 Cup will be there, and that's going to be super interesting because those cars are so closely matched. That long straight is going to be very interesting.
And you know what rotaries are like. The more revs you give them, the faster they go.
That's it. They'll go and they won't want to turn in at turn one. And then we'll also have GT1 and Australian Production Cars making their start, or Production Cars Australia, making their first round. So that'll be an incredibly interesting one. Yeah, for sure. It's going to be a huge meeting, and we'll be down there live streaming it while we'll have here in Sydney the New South Wales Sports Sedans, HQ Holdens, production touring cars and the like. It's going to be a big weekend as well, but first we've got our May 25-26. We go down to Wakefield Park for production touring and sports sedans, and before
that's not being live streamed.
That's not live, but they will be post-produced. And before that, on May 4th, we head to Marysville for the next round of the Victorian Rally Championship, and that one is shaping up to be an absolute belter as well. The Victorian Club Rally Series will run a night stages event as well.
Yeah, that's a two-fold series there with basically the second tier series running just the night stages 100%. and all day for the championship.
Going to be very interesting, and there's some people impressing in motorsport around Australia at the moment. You got to think of Nathan Hearn going back to TA2. He's had a really good run so far. Picked up his first victory as well.
That's great, yeah.
When Aaron Seaton's been pretty dominant in TA2 over the last couple of seasons, and now he's got Medecki, Hearn, and the like all on the back of him, ready to take the position away. So it's been really good racing in TA2, and a credit to all of those guys who were there. Yes, Scott Reed, we said sports sedans. Scott Reed joining in there to have a look. We have the sports sedans highlights package is actually on our YouTube channel now from the combined national round with the likes of Randall, Tomasi, Riccadello.
TEA Performance National Championship kicked off at Sydney Motorsport Park, and it was the second round of the Kumo Tyre New South Wales Sports Sedan Championship, and it was a good meeting, wasn't it? There was a lot going on there as well. Yeah. And certainly looking forward to the next round of the State Series.
And that'll be interesting to see how they all go down at Wakefield Park on May 24th.
Before the dead set of winter comes in and
freezing cold down there. That's it. And we'll go now, though, to have a quick look at some of the action up north. We brought you last week the AMRS specific categories. This week we're going to take a look at some of the Queensland local categories, and we'll kick things off with Queensland Prod Sports. So here we go, some highlights from Queensland Prod Sports. Gary, you commentated this show earlier today, and plenty of action throughout it.
Yeah, we've seen race 3 particularly was, race 4 was particularly interesting. A couple of people decided they might throw their lot in to try and win this thing, and speed off the track with that Wayne Henning in that car that's out in front, that 997 Cup car, was dominant in this one.
He was dominant across the weekend pretty much because it was just as we go here further down the field, the battles throughout the classes were also pretty cool. You had MX-5s battling Toyota 86s, National Toyota 86s, Janettas in there, Porsches trying to fight their way through as well because some of them had dramas in earlier races, and it was just on young and old all day Sunday. And then we had the IROC guys
in there as well. Yeah, and as you can see there, it wasn't just fighting amongst themselves in their classes, they were fighting against inter-class action as well. And we've seen that, particularly for these two here, fighting around in 2 different classes, particularly the Mazda MX-5, the big wing on the back of it, and the 2B car, and of course the other two running in 2.
These two Porsches were having a good battle throughout the end of the race.
This was Lachlan Harburg and Steve McFadden.
And Harburg trying to hold off McFadden while chasing down Henning in front. Ultimately, the pressure would get to him, though, in the heat of Sunday afternoon. Quite a warm afternoon for Queensland production sports cars. And as we came through the back section of the circuit, we'll see here in a moment that we had a bit of a moment sliding off at
that was
Siberia,
Harburg.
they call that corner.
Do they?
Yeah,
I would have called turn 6 personally.
Well, I found that out on the weekend, and I was like, oh, okay, there you go.
No, well, it's probably out in the middle of nowhere, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
But there's our leader in Wayne Henning, who's been a pretty dominant force in Queensland production sports racing, and really looked him down in this one, did he? Leading the way
and then the IROC guys were getting mixed up in amongst it. A bit of a smaller contingent of IROC Porsches up at Queensland. They joked at the end of the show that maybe the Victorians were a bit scared to get up there and have a race in Queensland. Well, it was too far for them.
He was a leading protagonist, Terry Knight in the Par Blue car.
But still, he found somebody to battle. You can see having a good old time there and took home the silverware, and that's helped his championship after completing both the races on Saturday at the opening round of the AMRS, while a couple of others faltered, which has allowed him to sort of get himself up in the championship. But this man out in front, Henning, just unbeatable in the Noosa Cat Porsche, and he was able to bring it home for a comfortable victory in the end.
And just when we thought Steve McFadden was safe in second, no, it was later on. Oh yes, here it is. Was around? No, that was the other incident. We think he was gone for all money, stuck in the gravel trap.
How good's this? Often you don't see people getting out of gravel traps like that. But sure enough, in an MX-5, this great piece of footage and driving. Grabs reverse, drives it backwards out of the gravelly dirt trap, and then decides to start his own motorcar out the back of Morgan Park to get back onto the circuit.
You know, I think you may have done that once or twice before. Maybe he's an expert. The checkered flag went out to Wayne Henning.
Yep.
Won the round, won all 4 races. Unfortunately for Graham Lusty in the Moser, had a right rear puncher and crossed the line, lost a bit of space there.
And then he went up to Bathurst, and you can see this is what happened on the weekend with Prod Sports, with the Industry Q Prod Sports Endurance Round, part of the Enduro Super Series. Also joining GT1 Australia for their opening round, so a bit of a hybrid round, but unfortunately Lusty would not partake in it.
It's the third year in a row that car's caught fire at Bathurst and has ran the rest of the year without dramas.
That's it. Without dramas. Morgan Park, we just saw the wheel fall off it.
That's not a fire, is it?
No, exactly. But we hear rumour now that car may well not be making a return at the moment.
I've seen them pushing it back in one evening there. They looked like they were loading it up.
Yeah.
Our thanks to Reece Vanderside from Inside Media for letting us use that photo.
Brilliant stuff. Really cool. And the Queensland Production Sports Car Association has their next round at
Queensland Raceway, May 4-5.
Yeah, so that'll be pretty interesting to see. Queensland Raceway, a very, very different track to Morgan Park.
Yeah, I think we called it there the most, so you would generally be further up the field at a track that's got longer straights, but given the nature of the circuit they were racing at, it's always going to be hard yards for him to knock off some of those more nimble cars.
Well, he won't have a
Morgan
chance
Park.
to knock off them now, as that car is highly unlikely to make it to Queensland Raceway.
He's got a Nissan Skyline as well, so he may bring that out and have a play in that.
Sometimes in life, you just got to go with the Nissan Skyline. And
most of us had plenty of history, though, of course. British built with a LS motor.
Is that the one that ran at Bathurst in the 24 hours as well? Yeah, so long history in Australian motorsport. And pretty interesting to see as well. So some great action there from the Queensland Production Sports Cars Championship. Great to have them along for the ride on Blendline TV. You'll be able to see highlights from their round at Morgan Park with the AMRS in a couple of weeks' time. We'll get the dates up on that one. I think it's May 16th or something like that from memory. So we'll get back to that. But GT1 as well, we'll try to wrap up some of the action from Bathurst.
Hopefully we might be able to get a couple of guys from that series to come in before their opening round.
Especially Jake Camilleri with his wonderful tumble down to the final corner. Caught up with our man, our good friend Glenn Townsend. The two of them coming to blows, unfortunately.
Tangled coming into the pit lane at a safety car.
Some really good footage.
Jake replied a bit later in the day by steering one of the I-30 ends that he shared with Charlie and Alfie Sinisi to victory to a class victory, Class C, as a matter of fact, in the 6 Hour. So great redemption, and it's great that you can just jump out of a car and shake yourself down and then just get back out and do it again.
Now, a couple of weeks ago, we said we would have some pictures and footage from the Cheap Car Challenge on the show. Unfortunately, we ran out of time in that show, but plenty of time left in this one to be able to take a look down at Pheasant Woods. We're hoping to get down there in the next couple of weeks to have a look, but we'll take a look now at some of the Cheap Car Challenge action from 2 weeks ago. Good on there to see. Now everyone will get to see the countdown. I'd probably skip this, Matt. We'll get to that. Yeah. Cheap Car Challenge.
We've had technical difficulties in the studio again.
Get to come back to us. We probably should turn upside down and do something like that. But the Cheap Car Challenge running down at Pheasant Wood was a great weekend for competitors. Here you go. Some great footage here from the bowl. Of course, Pheasant Wood, previously known as Marulan.
Well, it is at Marulan, isn't it?
Still at Marulan. Hasn't been moved. But undergoing massive rebuild.
How big's the field?
Check that out, yeah.
And
some cool cars.
Under $1,000.
Yep.
Purchase price. Obviously, you got to put a cage in it.
Cage in and go, and you get about 4 and a bit hours of racing and 2 separate individual mini enduros, I guess you could say, and that'll be interesting to see one day, I suppose.
Well,
competing
when they start their series up, they've got the legend cars there, and they've got a couple other categories. So we should try and get down there and see if we can get some footage, or maybe they might want to live stream it.
We'll get in touch with them and have a chat. That's a pretty cool guy, Craven Wild on a Subaru. Throwback to great days of Australian
very
Touring Car
early 80s
in
the Touring Car Championship.
And then we've got Toyota Celica and all sorts of other ones. So pretty cool weekend they're having down there with the Cheap Car Challenge. It's been something that's sort of grown and grown over the last couple of years. I remember hearing whispers of it about 2 years ago. It seemed like a pretty quiet event, and now it's starting to build in awareness and what they're doing and just giving people a place to race, which there's so many people craving for at the moment.
Yeah, there's some pretty good cars to get for $1,000.
Yeah, I was going to say, it'd be better than my current road car, that's for sure.
I was going to say the same
thing. Maybe not that one quite as much. It looks like a Corolla meets a Prius or something, doesn't it? Like it's almost been
in a bad mix,
put together itself, and then back to the bowl with a couple of shots of the full field as they got themselves underway.
Rolling starts, obviously, by the look of that.
The guy's doing a great job down there, and
picturesque weather as well to go with it.
That's it.
Good amenities there, and only less than 2 hours out of Sydney.
Yep. So Cheap Car Challenge, they go back down in mid-May, I think, is the next one. They're not very far apart, each of them. So get down there and have a run at Pheasants Wood if you get a chance and can get yourself a cheap car together. and maybe get some mates and get down and have a race. So yeah. Another event to look forward to on the 1st of June is going to be the HQ 1 Hour at Sydney Motorsport Park. It's an endurance race for the HQs. I tell you what, we get enough action out of them in 15-minute races. I can't imagine an hour. So that'll be well worth getting out and having a watch if you want to support motorsport as well. The MRA putting on a great weekend of racing with the Festival of Sporting Cars combined. I think
no doubt that might get a bit of a run on our HQ show on
Tuesday definitely
night.
Tuesday night HQs. Wayne took a break this week as he was just a bit tired, I think, from so many holidays. He just needed to have a break.
What's
from
he
the
in the country for a little while?
Yeah. He's staying over for a little bit at the moment, but he decided to have a break. So make sure to tune in Tuesday nights on HQ Extra for a roundup of HQ racing with Wayne Healy and Chris Buckley. Blendline TV live here, bringing you all of the information from around Australia with motorsport. Gary, probably worth doing a quick review of the supports at the Bathurst 6 Hour. We had a few of them there that we regularly end up talking to and following around the country. The Excels had a massive field, some great racing.
55, 55. And no one could touch Asher Johnston from South Australia. He won all 3 races. Michael Clementi was in second spot, and we've interviewed him in the past. So we know he's quite quick, and there was a bit of debate about who was going to run third, and there was a couple there that got in a fight. The third race in particular had some front runners running into each other, and
our friend Mark Walker was a fan of that.
Yes. One of his favourite mates there got involved in a last corner incident on the last lap, and unfortunately didn't get the finish.
End up in the gravel trap.
Yeah, and then of course in improved production, another huge field there as well. It looked like it was going to be a big showdown between a Tasmanian, Ray Hislop, and 2 Holden Monaros, one out of Western Australia for Matt Cherry and one out of South Australia for Adam Poole. Adam Poole unfortunately didn't start last race. They found the exhaust wasn't quite fixed properly when they lined it up on the grid.
That's a high-tech problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
Some sort of issue
but overall victory went to Matt Cherry because he had 2 wins and a second. Ray Hislop, unfortunately, who qualified fastest in the Falcon, couldn't start race 1 because they had a CDI unit failure. So he had to come through from the back of the field and got to 4th in race 2. And then won the 3rd race, as you'd expect. And also another good friend of ours, Jordan Cox, who's a bit of an internet sensation up there.
Great videos on Blendline of him racing in Ypres.
Yeah, he borrowed a John Boston Datsun 1200 with a 1.8 litre turbo engine in it. He qualified 4th fastest or something. Something ridiculous, and then was charging along nicely. Obviously, he's not going to match the front couple of cars, but had a oil breather problem, which was putting out a bit of smoke. So he did DNF, started rear grid in the second race. That's position 54 or whatever it was. Got up to 9th, I think. And that had the same issue, and then similar sort of. I think it just did the. It just got too much in the 3rd race, and I think the turbo might have expired. He drove it hard and gave him a few extra miles before jumping into his 6-hour car.
And then we can't forget as well the Australian Production Car Series ran as part of the 6 Hour, but not officially, just many of the competitors ended up there. We'll have that live on Blendline TV on June 30th from Phillip Island for the next round.
That's their second round of the championship.
The official championship, that's it. So should be a good day of racing as well down there. A fair bit coming your way in June on Blendline. We've got a little bit of a quieter May, but generally in motorsport it seems to be a bit of a quieter May. So.
Well, you've got a rally coming up, Victorian State Rally Championship, which is also the Victorian State Rally Series, and it runs some of the night stages. It might be a bit chilly out there at night time covering that.
No, don't worry about it. That's where I send people.
Myself. You sit in the van.
Send myself with a jacket, film out of the car. Anyway, let's take a look at the calendar about what's on this weekend around the nation. So we'll get the calendar up quickly. A few things going on. South Australia, the Malla All Historic. This is a very, very cool event. I'd like to get down to it one day and see that Clem Smith Charger back out on the track.
Been refurbished. It's been totally rebuilt, and you can see just how good it looks. So it's in the Group U race. Queensland, we move up there. North Queensland, as a matter of fact, where we've got the off-road series kicking off on April 28 as well. And as you can see, it's like a lot of Australia at the moment, warm and dry. Down in Victoria, except for some parts of Victoria, it's been a bit different. State Hill Climb Championship.
2 litre milk jug on the side. I just noticed on the picture.
At Bryant Park, a very competitive series down there.
Yeah.
And we go over to Tassie, and they've got a Hill Climb Championship round as well, running at Baskerville. It's probably better than running at Simmons Plains. I think there's a bit more graduation at that Hobart track than there is up at the Launceston track.
That's it. So a bit of a wrap. Not a huge amount of motorsport going on this Anzac Day semi-long weekend, I guess you could say.
Oh, it is. It's two long weekends in a row.
Everybody's taking Friday off anyway, so get out there and get some racing under your belt. Plenty of hill climbs going on. Hopefully we'll have some more news on that sort of front in the coming weeks here on Blendline TV. Until then, it's a bit of a shorter show tonight, but we decided to do something special with it, and hopefully you will all enjoy. We're taking a trip back up to Morgan Park to take a look at the Queensland Touring Car Championship, probably one of the best kept secrets in Australian motorsport at the moment. Some pretty stellar looking cars, some cool sounding machinery.
If you like Holden V8, you'll be wrapped.
You'll be wrapped with this one. So what we've got for you now is a raw race from up at Morgan Park. Settle in and enjoy. It's about 15 minutes long. Until next week, join us at 8 p.m. every Wednesday night. I'm Daniel Beckinsale. Joining me is Gary O'Brien.
All the best.
If you'd like to get in touch for your event to be on Blendline TV Live or potentially sponsor the show and be part of helping this get out to the Australian audience, make sure to get in touch at info@dgbmedia.com.au. Till then, enjoy this race and we'll see you next week.
This is what motorsport is. It's loud. That's why I like it, because I'm loud.
How good are you? Hey, what about that?
Actually, I can actually count to 10 because I got there. Yes.
Yeah, I'm alright. My nuts are a bit squashed. I'm out.
This is what motorsport is. It's loud. That's why I like it, because I'm loud.
How good are you? Hey, what about that?
Actually, I can actually count to 10 because I got there. Yes.
Yeah, I'm alright. My nuts are a bit squashed. I'm out.
This is what motorsport is. It's loud. That's why I like it, because I'm loud.
How good are you? Hey, what about that?
Actually, I can actually count to 10 because I got there. Yes.
Yeah, I'm alright. My nuts are a bit squashed. I'm out.
This is what motorsport is. It's loud. That's why I like it, because I'm loud.
How good are you?